Hello and welcome to Flavor Friday. That's time of the week where we have a look at the flavor situation of a country in Project Caesar, or EU5, and we go over what they have shown us, see if there is something here that is really striking, catches the eye, and makes us want to play this country. So, today, of course, as you can see on the screen, we're going to be talking about the Mali Empire, which was led at this time by Mansa Musa, by all accounts, the richest person in the history of the world. Certainly at this time, whether that's true anymore, who knows. But before we get into that, I would just like to give another call to action. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subscribers before the present-day richest man in the world buys this platform, YouTube, and runs it into the ground at high speed, just like he's doing with Twitter. Now, let us get into today's topic. Hello and welcome one more week to Tinto Flavor, the Happy Fridays where we take a look at the flavorful content created for the super secret Project Caesar. But before we start, I want to share with you that we have a new job opening at Paradox Tinto. Of course, I saw a tweet about this from Johan very recently, community manager for the unannounced game. Yes, if you are willing to move, I assume this is a in situ position, going to Sitges, which is a little bit south of Barcelona. Then if you are interested in that job, then definitely just have a look. I'll leave a link here as well, or I'll leave a link to the flavor, and then the link's right there. You're a smart cookie. I believe in you. You can do this. Anyway. Today we'll be travelling throughout the Sahara towards the Sahel, where the Empire of Mali stands, ruled by the infamous Mansa Musa. I assume I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't even know. The mighty Mansa Musa Keita of Mali astonished the world 1 decade ago when he performed his Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. Such an event was recorded by chroniclers and chanted by minstrels, and it served to establish his fame as the richest man as he spread his prodigality? Prodigal son? Prodigality. Okay. Gifting zakah, alms-giving gold, wherever his long and luxurious courtly caravan passed by. This display of splendor might have reflected the richness of the Malian lands after its empire expanded and consolidated under the Keita dynasty. However, one day Mansa Musa will pass away, and his successors may not find it so easy to rule over his very diverse holdings. So Mr. Mansa Musa here is a really high admin score, 66 in his Diplo score and 50 in his military score. Very nice. The mighty Mansa Musa is still ruling Mali in 1337. We don't know when exactly he died, so we decided to have him as the ruler at the start of the game. As usual, please consider the UI 2D and 3D art as work in progress. Please don't critique our art, please, is what I'm hearing. But also, I would say that it doesn't look as bad as some of the other ones that we've seen. I think the main thing that I keep taking away from the art, and I will consider it work in progress. The characters very rarely fit the background, right? He does not feel like he is part of the same set dressing, or he's not part of the same world as the background, because obviously the background is art, and he is very clearly a 3D render. So there's that mismatch, and it kind of brings you out of it a little bit. But I will say this is one of the better ones that we've seen. Also, he is an emperor. You can see that this is the country rank title. 4 is emperor, 3 is kingdom, 2 is duchy, and then number 1 is county. The one province minus, or I guess one location minus, or even better, unique location minors, which gives you the acronym Ulm. There are many Ulms, especially in Germany. I can't recall what this one means, but this one means he is a monarchy. But yeah, I can't recall what that one means. Anyway, the lands of Mali. They are quite large at the start of the game, though having multiple Mali Empire is a little strange. Like, if the color is reaching there, I don't feel like there is a need for more things, even though it is, connected by these corridors. I think corridors should count for, spreading your name across them without issue, because it kind of looks a bit awkward. Anyway, Mali starts with 1 vassal. Jolof. Isn't Jolof the one that's usually on the coast? But I don't see them there. Maybe they are a... no, they're a country, so they're not a society of pops. I don't know. I thought they were there. Maybe I'm wrong. Led by Chieftain Nadiadine. Sure, whatever. And you can see all of their situations. Their culture is Wolof. They've got 197,000 people, tax base of 2.89, vassal of the Mali Empire, and they have a little bit of opinion with us. Distance of 365, which is in the diplomatic range of 3,000. Okay, so this is a little bit of information that we've gleaned about how diplomatic range works, although work in progress numbers, I'm certain. But if we can find Jolof at some point, maybe are they... Yeah, no, there's no way I can see that without looking at the map, which we're actually going to go and have a look at now. So yeah, Jolof is exactly where I thought he was. They just kind of didn't have him shown on this. Like, Jolof is... Oh wait, no, here... Oh my god, I'm such a muppet. This is Jolof right here. Their name isn't shown. So wherever Mali's capital is, which I believe it's around about here, and Jolof, which is here, this distance is about 365. The fact that they border and the number is higher than 0 is worrisome, maybe. But anyway, let's take a look at some government-related features of Mali, which can be checked in the estates window. They have a pretty low crown power, 16%. Only one reform in there right now. The Umara, which is the nobles, got 43%, and there's 1,300 noble pops. Pretty satisfied though, this is alright. Ulama have 20%, that's the church's estate. The burghers' estate is 11%. There's a lot of burghers, which is quite nice. And then 8% for the commoners, and there's about 500,000 of those. Wangara is the least satisfied. Oh, actually, no. The Ulama, very unsatisfied. The fact that he did his Hajj and they're still super unsatisfied. Maybe giving all the money away and you're not giving it to us, perhaps. I don't know. But, yeah, might need to take care of that in your games of Mali. There's one starting government reform for Mali, the Mandun Kurufa. Essentially, this gives you monthly progress to decentralization, cultural tradition plus 0.5, and stability decay of minus 0.1. The Mandan Kurfa, also known as the Mandan Federation, is the government of the Empire of Mali. Originally started as the 12 Doors, which were personal possessions of Amansa, this network of alliances and conquered lands have become the core government of the state. You might also notice that the estates start with a privilege with the same icon, as it's a similar one, made to portray the religious diversity of Mali, a country ruled largely by Mandi-speaking Sunni people, but with a fragmented, tolerant society. So conversion of nobles is blocked. Okay, that's interesting. That is certainly interesting. I like that. I like that exists. Because there's a bunch of countries in the world that have a kind of system where, they're not forcefully converting or trying to convert their, especially nobility, right? You can't conquer a land and then you leave the nobles in place and allow them to, if you allow them to practice the faith that they had before, then they are going to be a little bit more happy with you. You just got a new boss and there's not much to worry about. I'm thinking, because I'm still kind of imperator pilled, I'm thinking like Alexander didn't force the Persians to start believing in Zeus and stuff, so that would be something that they would have. But yeah, that's cool. I like that. The Omara estate has gained religious protections and is therefore exempt from any conversion attempts from the state. So religions in the Mali Empire as well. They've got 530,000 Sunni, 116,000 Nyama, Nahala's got 100,000, Gino 47,000, and Emets have got 25,000. Second screenshot comes from a tooltip on the religious panel, shows the religious distribution of the country. Please note we've already done the pagan split, but haven't yet incorporated feedback from the West African Tinto maps, nor reviewed the starting populations. So this may change all these numbers. There's also a couple of unique privileges for the Umara, the nobility of the country, that may be available later after an event triggers. So we have privilege here, Office of the Farima Saura, giving monthly progress to aristocracy, building roads being cheaper. That's actually really huge. and then trade efficiency goes up as well. Charged with guarding the northern border, the Farari monitors traffic across the Saharan border and oversees the safety and swift passage of all mercantile traffic in and out of our borders. That seems really cool. We know that roads are quite bloody expensive, so reducing their cost by 25% is probably going to be very, very sought after indeed. We have the Office of Sankar Zalma, also giving progress to aristocracy, market attraction going up, and monthly rebel growth going down. Very nice. The Sankar Zalma is a prestigious office granted to the Amara by the highest authority in the land. Its role, much like the Farari, revolves around exercising authority along trade routes across the southern border. Mali also starts with a couple of unique policies enacted. The first for the distribution of power state law, and the other for the levy law military law. Levy law military law. We have the Gibra. I'm going to go with Gibra, maybe. I don't know. It gives monthly progress to decentralization. The nobles are more satisfied. The nobles get more power, though. Adding accepted cultures is 20% cheaper, and you get +1 capacity of cultures. Remember, this does not mean you can have one extra culture. This is not EU4. A culture's cost when it comes to accepting them is based on their relative size in your country. So accepting tiny cultures is very cheap when it comes to capacity, whereas if you're like, I don't know, Austria-Hungary situation where you're, the Hungarians almost outnumber the Austrians, then that is when accepted culture capacity is going to be stretched. But yeah, it's a better situation and a better setup than EU4 has for cultures. The Jabra is the deliberative assembly of Mali and is defined in the Malian constitution, the Kele-Koun Fauga. The Umara represent the many clans in our state and check the power of the ruling Mansa. And now we have the Tontajon Taniworo, a monthly progress to quality. Nobles are happier, the noble levies are much larger, and the nobles gain more power. The army of the empire in its early days was made of 16 clans whose leaders promised to protect the great Mansa and the Malian state. Translated as the 16 slaves that carry the bow, the Tontajon Tanawori are the high nobility of the country and serve as the commanders of the Malian cavalry. We also start with 3 works of art. We have the Sankor Madrasa, the Great Mosque of Dijen. This was a wonder in EU4, if I remember correctly. And the Jin Guerberer Mosque. So unknown creators for all of them. They've been around for, 7 to 10 years, and they're pretty good. They're all right. They're very good, great, and good. What they do, sure, who knows? But yeah, cool. Hopefully we have some new artwork. I'm not sure I vibe seeing, bronze statue on plinth. I don't know if that one really fits, but either way. So unique advances. The Kele-Koun Fauga advance unlocks the Mandan Kurufa. And we'll see what that is, hopefully. Oh, that's the one that unlocks the government reform. Okay. The Kele-Koun Fauga is the basic constitution of Mali, every aspect of life, from the simple family life in the villages, all the way to the sovereignty of the Mansa. Gold of Bure. Available in the Age of Renaissance, it gives monthly inflation reduction, which is good, and gold output positive, which is also good. The twin gold fields of Bambuk and Bure are renowned as the largest gold deposits anyone has ever heard of, and they are ours. Bure's gold mines produce fantastic wealth that famously destabilized the entire economy of Egypt through inflation when Mansa Musa visited there. Our economy, though, is used to a constant influx of gold, and it's more difficult to inflate. We also have a bunch of unique units. We have the Mandekalu levies, both infantry and horsemen. Very cool. They are the backbone of the Malian military. The free men of the empire are called to arms in the times of war, and it's a great honor for them to participate in these battles with their own weapons. So we have their stats here. They cost 4 monthly manpower. They take weaponry, leather, and lumber as maintenance. I really like goods maintenance for units. I'm pretty sure I've said this every single time we've had one of these show up, but I think that's so cool. And then stats. Again, it's really kind of useless to look at stats right now, for me at least, because it's really hard to compare, and I don't know how they fare in combat. it is going to be a situation where I need to get my hands on the game and play it to really understand how that all comes about. The Mandekalu infantry are the backbone of the Malian military and are made of Huron, the free commoners of Mali. Equipped with javelins, bows, and poisoned arrows, the Mandekalu infantry are a formidable force to be reckoned with. They can gain experience in order to be promoted to Farari infantry after the advanced Farari corps has been researched. This is awesome! Okay, holy balls. One thing I was a little bit worried about, right, is sometimes when you have unique units, they get outscaled. And, okay, it is easier to think of this in civilization terms, right? The game Civilization, right? Where I've got, I'm playing as the Romans, and early on in the game, in the ancient era, I unlocked the Roman legionary as my unique unit, and that's awesome, and I've got a power spike. But then we've moved on, the technology is pushed on, and maybe I'm not at war during this period where I have this super unique, awesome unit. But then we move on to the next age, and my super unique, awesome unit is replaced by, I don't know, pikemen or something in the Renaissance age. I don't really play Civ, so I don't know if that progression makes super much sense. Maybe there's an error in between. I don't know. Whatever. I actually don't care. But then my super unique unit, the Roman Legion, is useless now. And we're going back to being on par with everyone else. I'm sure this happens in EU4 as well, with some unique units. But the ability to gathering experience on your units, we have that in EU4, but the ability to then promote those guys to a new type of unit. Experience is shared by all Mandekalu units. Won battles grants 15, lost battles grant +5 experience per person. That's super cool. This is something we have not even have any information about. And it's here in a friggin' tooltip of a different unit, and this is new stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. And I want a dev diary on this, because what other units can upgrade like this? Is it just unique units that get to upgrade to other unique units? I mean, obviously, your infantry is going to be able to upgrade to newer types of infantry, but do they require experience to be able to do that? Or what's the situation here? I need more information, just in general, about everything. Anyway, the Mandekalu horsemen, same things required, but they also require horses. They don't cost as much monthly because I guess there's fewer men in it, 100 versus 200. Stats, have some stats. Also, these guys don't have any combat performance statistics, whereas these guys do. They're crap in mountains and wetlands and jungles and mountains and wetlands and jungles. Terrain impact and combat performance. But they're better in grasslands. Why is this here twice? What's the difference between combat performance and terrain impact? This is +10, bad. This is -10, bad. Terrain impact on what? Maybe their upkeep? If they're in mountains, then it costs more to upkeep them. Maybe more in men, more in maintenance. Maybe? I actually don't know. It is possible that I am forgetting something. And I'm forgetting what this means, and maybe we've gone over this before. If that's true, again, I just want to point out again, I have dyspraxia, which is what, other than also affecting my balance, it gives me a pretty bad memory. So I am going to forget things, because this is me just reading stuff, right? And seeing things on dev diaries. It's not me, playing the game and getting that as learned information rather than remembered information. So I will forget things, and I apologize if that happens. But if that does happen, I very much do appreciate people saying in the comments, by the way, Lambert, you forgot, and you can read about it here in Dev Diary. That's really helpful to me. So if there is something along those lines, like I'm not going to feel bad about you correcting me. Like, that is reasonable. It's perfectly fine, and I appreciate it. But anyway, yeah. If somebody remembers what this is all about, let me know. I'm curious. The Mandekalu horsemen are the additional support of the Malian military. These Huron, the free commoners of Mali, received their mount and equipment from the Tong Tigi and the Mansa. Charging into battle with lances and long swords, the Mandekalu horsemen projected the power of the Mansa even in the furthest corners of the empire. And these guys can also upgrade, but to Farari infantry. My horses are upgrading to infantry. Okay, fair enough. You might note the description of these two levy units refer to the Farari Corps, which is the following advance. It gives you cavalry power. Okay, we get the Farari Corps, which gives cavalry power, and therefore I can upgrade my Mandekalu horsemen into infantry. I think there may be an situation going on here. A mistake, potentially. But no, it says allows Farari cavalry, so I think this tooltip is just wrong. The Farari Corps are the elite of the Malian military. These men are the commanders in their own right and are highly respected for the experience and bravery. So this is in the age of Renaissance, which is cool. And the Farari infantry, okay. Here is now a good chance to check something out. All right, so now we can see them all at the same time, and I'm just gonna move me out of the way a second. I'm gonna sit right here. So we can compare, right? So the Farari infantry, they have 1,000 instead of 200 as their minimum strength. Combat power and frontage are the same. These guys have a morale damage taken minus 10% situation. Also, they take 5% less strength damage. Unit weight per strength, 100 is the same. Food storage is the same. Food consumption the same. Movement speed the same. Combat speed, they are slightly faster. No. Yes. They're 0.15 faster. Initiative is higher as well. And then flanking ability and secure flanks is the same. So basically, this is what I was asking for before. Like, it's hard to know what changes there are comparing different infantry types. They also cost the same amount of maintenance and construction, so it definitely is a good idea to upgrade them. Basically, you're getting more troops per unit, which is the same as like all units, I guess. As the time progresses, your individual units are going to be larger. But yeah, taking less morale damage and strength damage is definitely a good thing. And we also have the Farari cavalry, which are the same kind of situation. All the same stats, except morale damage taken now is minus 33% and strength damage minus 20%. So this is a huge buff to get the Farari cavalry over the Mandekalu for sure. Also, monthly damage from attrition. I don't think that was there, was it? No, it was. Okay, fair enough. My bad. But yeah, no, very cool. Very cool units. Another unique advance is the Kele-Koun, giving infantry power plus 10% and allows a new auxiliary regiment. The Kele-Koun, or Warhead, are the commanders of the Kele-Bolo, the war arm infantrymen fighting for the empire. Unlike the Tontiki, the feudal lords of Mali, the Kele-Koun are not necessarily part of the nobility. The Kele-Koun have Jono, slaves, serving as carriers of the weapons and equipment until their inclusion in the Sofa battalions. And they unlock the Jono Auxilia, an auxiliary unit that is going to carry your food, essentially. 18 food storage right there. You don't want them in combat, though. That would be bad, for sure. The Jono slaves accompany the Kele-Koun and their soldiers as carriers of their military equipment. Finally, another military advance unlocks one more unit and two more buildings. So we have the Sofa infantrymen. Okay, so we're going to upgrade our units again. Did these guys say that they were upgrading? No, there was nothing here about them upgrading. Maybe they do, though. Originally, as all soldiers of the Kele-Bolo levies are Huron, or... Horon. I'm pretty sure it said Huron earlier. Is that... Am I right? Huron. These Huron, free commoners, is Horon something different? Horon Freeman. Okay, so there is a mismatch there. Whether that is intended, that is just something in the way that these words work in that language, I don't know. Or whether it is a genuine spelling mistake, I don't know. But hey, this is feedback, and I'm fairly confident the devs are watching videos, not only from myself but others as well who make these videos. So there you go. There is a spelling mistake potentially. potentially. The latest development of the Mali Empire forces the inclusion of Jono, slaves, to serve in the army as fighters instead of weapon carriers. These slave warriors would then be known as Sofa, protecting the garrison forces from Malian fortifications. Oh, okay, so, yeah, the Jono auxiliaries are ones that can upgrade to the Sofa. Maybe. You also unlock the stockade in a barracks building. Very cool. So, Sofa infantrymen, they're 200 strength units. What age is this? It's in an age of Renaissance as well. These stats don't look super high above what we've seen before. But, you know, secure flanks. Is that something we've seen before? Secure flanks here is only 50, but that's an auxiliary unit. Cavalry flanking ability 200%, sure. And then infantry is 100 and 100. Initiative 9. Whereas these Sofa guys, initiative 5. So they're kind of bad, actually. But maybe they just cost less. 0.3 weapons, leather and lumber. They're saying I don't know why I would want these guys. I don't know why I'd want these guys. Anyway. Slaves who were trained in the arts of war so they could serve the state as soldiers. Although they received their weapons from the Huron, the free men of Mali, it is them who risk their lives in combat. Maybe it's they're hired from a different pop type that you don't care about as much. Like, I care more about the pops of my culture, whereas if I'm, you know, able to hire slave soldiers, and I'm going to honestly care less about them than I am about my own people. Which is kind of a vile thing to say, but product of the times. Let's go with that. Anyway, the Sofa Barracks, it requires 2,000 slave pops. We've got Age of Renaissance here. I guess it's a military building. This is something we saw in one of the more recent Tinto buildings, the Saturday buildings, which we didn't have a Saturday building last Saturday, by the way. So, hopefully we'll get this one on this week. Where the purple one was government building, this must mean military building. I don't recall what this one means. It is available in cities, towns, and villages, and green tick is new. I don't know what that means either. Gives monthly manpower +5, may build Sofa units and recruit regiments there. Cool. So it required production method there of various goods. Costs pretty cheap to build, 50 ducats. In many ways, the Sofa Barracks is identical to other types of barracks. However, this military building is operated by slave soldiers and uses resources native to the Sahel region. Cool. The Sofa Stockade is a defensive building, giving +100 garrison size, less unrest, and +1 fort level. I imagine this is the kind of building that's there as well. Oh, this is what advance. This is the picture of the advance. Sofa Levy's advance. That's the picture of it, and that unlocks these two buildings. This means what advance it is. Okay, I understand again. So yeah, this stockade is made. I think it's on the side of a fort. You can't build it on its own, if I remember rightly from a previous stockade. Maybe I'm wrong though. These fortifications are operated by slave soldiers and made of material native to the Sahel region. Cool. Now let's have a look at the narrative content. The event will trigger while Mansa Musa is still alive as an announcement of the potentially harsh time to come. During the reign of Mansa Musa Keita, the Mali Empire has reached the pinnacle of power in West Africa. Truly blessed by Allah, the great Mansa has ruled Mali with strength and wisdom and has even shown the great wealth of the empire to the rest of the world during his Hajj. However, the wheel of fortune cannot turn forever in our favour. Crown Prince Magan Keita has never been of great significance, and the empire is facing social issues with so many diverse cultures present in the state. Only time will tell what might happen to the Mali Empire. Oh, Magan, you have so much to learn. So much to learn. But, I don't know. The portraits kind of look... I mean, he looks better than Magan does. Magan looks a little bit... Madame Tussauds, wax face, dead face, right? Maybe it's just the inclusion of wrinkles and more, like, texture on the skin. Whereas this guy is a little shiny and smooth. Fresh-faced little baby. I don't know. Maybe that is it. So may the prospering times find no end, gaining legitimacy and prestige and gaining so much money. Mali might become subject to the decline of Mali disaster if the legitimacy or stability is too low while a weak ruler is in power. Oh gosh. The disaster may end up triggering for your country the decline of Mali. The estates, not happy. The stability, not good. The legitimacy, not good. So, it can trigger if we are at peace. Or is it at least one of these? At least all of these. So, all rebels in the country don't have more than 10% progress. Okay. So the moment he's got 2 rebels at 10% or more progress. If you have less than 50,000, it will fire. But you've got 791, so this is irrelevant. So here, all of these, if all rebels in the country... maybe this is a chance to not have it fire. Like, you won't fire if you're less than 50,000. But if you are higher than 700,000 and at peace with a ruler that has greater than 90 legitimacy and greater than 15 stability, I guess this is not firing, right? This will not fire if this happens. Because if you have greater stability, that's a good thing. Right now, we don't have that, so it is firing. Yeah, having the ticks and the crosses, it's kind of the opposite of what I would have expected. But again, this is the first time that we're seeing this kind of system for... like, this is the kind of thing that you see in, like, mission trees in EU4, where you've got ticks and crosses based on, you know, whether you're passing various elements in order to, you know, fire those missions. This is just the opposite of what I was expecting. So at the moment he's not at peace, he does have a ruler that has less legitimacy. Sorry, that has good legitimacy and good stability. So ticks are it will progress. Yeah, ticks are it will progress. Because if we have less than legitimacy, then this is a tick, then it will start to progress. Okay. But then greater... yeah, if you have less than 15 stability and less than 90 legitimacy, it will turn into ticks. We have a ruler. Apparently you don't have a ruler. Unless it's a ruler with this. But maybe that should be in a... I don't know, this is a little bit confusing. I'm sure it'll become more apparent the more we play with it, but either way. Weak rulership, civil wars, the rise of external threats, and internal stagnation are great challenges the Mali Empire has to face. The stability and security of the empire is in peril, and only a strong hand can lead the state to once former glory. It will trigger a number of nasty events, such as a fragmented realm. Okay, this guy actually looks good. This art better than this art. This guy looks... maybe it's the lighting. It's less shiny, but this looks really good. Many within our ranks seem to believe our great nation is falling apart. Regional revolts, prospecting pretenders, and harsh weather patterns have led to many speculating that our end is nigh. Adding salt to our wounds, now many of our subjects in our eastern territories demand their complete independence from our authority after kicking out our local administrators and putting the local crown representatives to the sword. That's not good at all. But they accept, historically, this is what the book icon means, they accept blood is repaid with blood, the cycle of violence. Perhaps it's time for Songhai to rise. I imagine this lets you, it lets you start playing as Songhai instead of Mali if you choose the third option. That's cute. That's cool. I like that. If you overcome the disaster, you get a reward in terms of prestige, stability, etc., and they need to do some balance tweaks on it, so there might be more. Nonetheless, besides the disaster, you can also get nicer events while playing as Mali, such as some about the development of Timbuktu. Mansubusa Keita, in previous years, has invested in the town of Timbuktu. Other nations seem fascinated by the growth of the town. And growth of town. The town. Spelling, grammar, thing, whatever. And are regularly visiting it. Perhaps we can aid it even more and show our neighbours the might of Mali. So moves towards prosperity, gain development, gain prestige, lose some money. Flavor_mal.20.a. This is very much recognizable if you've done any EU4 modding. A lot of events look like this. And that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week we'll travel back to Europe in the Crown of Aragon. Nice. Looking forward to that one for sure. So, what do we think? I am not pleasantly surprised. Generally, when you have a country that starts this large, I'm not too interested in it. But the fact that you get a very early disaster that you may end up fragmenting from, it remains to be seen how easy it is to overcome your disaster or prevent it from firing at all. The ability to play Songhai relatively early from this situation as well is kind of cute. I like that. And yeah, overall, it seems like a pretty decent country that I'm kind of curious and want to give a try of. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I am always going to be reading them. And which part of this is nice to you? Which part of this is super interesting? Personally, I'm super interested in the new units. The upgrading of units, especially, is something I am really wanting more information on. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you on Monday for the Tinto Yaps, where we have a look at all of the developer responses to these dev diaries. But anyway, until then, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.